JK Rowling's words might be supremely magical, but sometimes the actors added their own spin with some wonderful unscripted moments. We all have our favorite Harry Potter line or moment, whether it be,
"You're a wizard, Harry."
Whatever Ron says in that high-pitched squeal,
"Can we panic now?"
Snape saying,
Always.
or the moment where Hermione punches Draco right in the face. Who didn't love that moment? But you'd be surprised to know that there are actually a number of moments throughout the series that were not meant to be in there at all. Whether it be a happy accident, witty retorts, or genius pieces of acting, you might be shocked to learn that some of these scenes were completely off of the cuff. In this video, we'll take a look at the most famous Harry Potter scenes that were completely unscripted, from one of the most hilarious one-liners of all time, actors completely forgetting their lines and going rogue, and of course, the most awkward moment in the entire series. Let's start off with some awkward moments, shall we? Because there is nothing the Brits do better than create awkward and cringy humor, such as Peep Show, The In-Betweeners, The Office, and the IT Crowd. That, of course, does not stop in Harry Potter, with there being wonderfully awkward moments, some intentional, and others not so much. Now, while there are some scenes which are awkward but are actually scripted, such as the "Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire" moment,
Harry, did you put your name in the goblet of fire?
there is one famous scene that is unscripted. In the Deathly Hallows Part 2, after Voldemort duels with Harry and falsely declares victory, he gives a speech and acknowledges the ones that assisted in his so-called victory. One such person is Draco, who Voldemort rewards with a, well, you know. Draco actor Tom Felton's nervous reaction is genuine, as in the 20 takes they did for this scene, Voldemort actor Ralph Fiennes only brought him in for a hug once, and that was the take the filmmakers decided to include in the final cut. But it isn't just Felton's reaction to the speech and the subsequent awkward hug that is interesting, and in fact it's worth watching every other actor in the scene. That's because Fiennes would constantly change his direction and who he would talk to in order to spark different reactions. Lucius Malfoy actor Jason Isaacs said, "It kept the whole courtyard on their toes," and that's not surprising, because when Voldemort starts talking to you, it's best you listen.
It's true then, what they're saying on the train. Harry Potter has come to Hogwarts.
On the subject of the Malfoys, Draco Malfoy certainly has an irritating and punchable face, with his smarmy, precocious drawl perfect for the character. But sometimes, just sometimes, that smarmy, precocious drawl can actually be pretty funny.
It's killed me. It's killed me.
In Chamber of Secrets, when Harry and Ron use Polyjuice Potion to pose as Malfoy's stooges, Crabbe and Goyle, Malfoy becomes suspicious of them when he sees Goyle wearing glasses. Goyle, who is of course actually Harry, tells Malfoy that they are for reading, which prompted a fantastic one-liner,
Reading? I didn't know you could read.
which is not only perfectly in keeping with the character, but completely improvised. But there's also another funny, unscripted moment between Malfoy and his goons in Chamber of Secrets, this time in the form of Crabbe. Now, celebrating Harry's acts of triumph and bravery at Hogwarts is basically an annual tradition, a probably rather irritating one, especially if you are in House Slytherin, and it seems like pupils just cheer and clap out of habit. One such pupil is Crabbe, with actor Jamie Waylett not realizing he was not supposed to get up and cheer when Harry has plotted it at the end of the movie, which led to Felton quickly grabbing him and pulling him down to prevent the shot being ruined. Somehow it made it even better as it played into how naive and sometimes stupid Crabbe can be, as well as Malfoy's control over Crabbe and Goyle and his loathing of Harry. To be honest, I'd also get fed up cheering for Harry. Kill the basilisk. Yeah. Let me know when he completes the start reactor task on Among Us. Yeah, then maybe I'll clap. But it's not just Malfoy Jr. who is involved in a number of unscripted moments, but also Malfoy Sr., aka Lucius Malfoy. In fact, Jason Isaacs seemingly had a lot of input when it came to the character. The original concept was a much more normal man with much shorter hair and less eccentric clothing, but Jason Isaacs thought that the character would be better suited to have much longer hair and elaborate clothing, and it was even his idea to keep his wand in his cane. JK Rowling seemingly didn't mind the change to the character and actually loved the liberties the actor took. As you know, there are 3 unforgivable curses, and they are probably the most memorable in the Harry Potter world, other than Wingardium Leviosa and Expectro Patronum.
Expecto Patronum!
That was definitely the case for Jason Isaacs when he forgot his line and which spell he was supposed to use in Chamber of Secrets. At the end of the movie, Lucius goes to curse Harry, but as we mentioned, forgot which one, and began muttering the words for the most unforgivable curse out of all of the unforgivable curses. Imagine if Dobby hadn't saved the day and Lucius had said the curse. The franchise certainly would be a lot shorter, and Lucius would be spending some serious time in Azkaban. Still, despite his memory loss, we can only assume Lockhart used his memory spell on him.
Obliviation!
Isaacs was perfect for the role of Lucius. So perfect, in fact, he had no problem getting completely into character. But no one seemed to realize just how much. So when director Chris Columbus saw Isaacs randomly kicking out and stabbing his foot, he was somewhat confused. Concerned that he had tripped or maybe he was chasing off Nargles, Columbus asked Isaacs what that was all about, to which Isaacs explained he was attacking Dobby where he assumed he would be. Columbus appreciated the dedication and left it to the CGIs to make Isaacs look somewhat less ridiculous. Tom Felton's glorious one-liner might be the most well-known, but the Chosen One also isn't too bad at it.
But I am the Chosen One. Okay, sorry,
In Chamber of Secrets, Harry confronts Draco's old man, Lucius, who sarcastically comments that he hopes that Harry is around to save the day, to which Daniel Radcliffe ad-libbed his response.
Don't worry. I will be.
As you know, there is a great cultural divide between Muggles and the world of witches and wizards, with those of the magical persuasion intrigued by Muggle customs. One such wizard is the Weasley patriarch Arthur. In one scene, Arthur asks Harry a host of questions about Muggle life and objects, and actor Mark Williams came up with a ton of his own questions, which he would use in each take to keep it fresh and funny, with the final question being,
What exactly is the function of a rubber duck?
hey, I'll do you one better. Why is Rubber Duck? Poor Neville has had a rough time in his life. Not only were his parents rendered insane after being tortured by Bellatrix, but actor Matthew Lewis was forced to be made to look more ugly, as the production deemed him to be too attractive as he grew up. To top it off, when Neville is captured by Bellatrix, she jams a wand into his ear. Poor Neville, what did he do to deserve it? Well, it turns out that was actually an accident, as Bellatrix was only supposed to touch his face with the wand, but she got carried away and instead basically assaulted him. Don't worry, Neville, we remember what you did. We remember. While on the subject of Bellatrix, while we can say that Helena Bonham Carter was a perfect casting for the part, one thing we can't say is a piece of profanity that is highly applicable to label her character Bellatrix as, although we really want to. One of her darkest moments among a plethora of dark moments was when she left Hermione scarred with a wizarding slur word during torturing. This, however, was actually invented by both Bonham Carter and Emma Watson, and JK Rowling gave them credit for their clever, albeit dark, touch. We may not be able to use profanity, but Emma Watson had no trouble using the C word when her character met Harry for the first time, with her using the word crickets.
Holy cricket! You're Harry Potter!
Oh, crickets. Are we allowed to put that in? Yeah, crickets. There we go. I just said it. I said it again. Anyway, before I get this video taken down, the use of the word was actually improv on Watson's part, but Columbus loved it so much that he kept it in, because it's a Jiminy cricketing good line. If, like me, you were a cool kid and refused to do something even remotely embarrassing. I mean, as leader of the Bug Collector Club, I had a reputation to keep. Well, Emma Watson also struggled to do something embarrassing while filming Chamber of Secrets, hug her co-stars. At the end of the movie, Hermione is meant to hug both Harry and Ron goodbye, but being too embarrassed to do so in such a large crowd, she opted to just hug Harry and give Ron a handshake, sentencing him straight to the friend zone. Don't worry though, you know it works out all right for him in the end. Another embarrassing moment for the young stars is kissing their co-stars and on-screen crushes, which as leader of the Bug Club, I don't know anything about. But one endearing moment comes as the trio argue over Harry's kiss with Cho, with Hermione snapping and yelling the line,
"Just because you've got the emotional range of a teaspoon."
with their following laughs actually genuine and unscripted. David Tennant may have charmed us as the Doctor in Doctor Who, Crowley in Good Omens, and Alec Hardy in Broadchurch, but he's also played a number of creepy characters, such as Kilgrave in Jessica Jones, Dennis Nilsson in Des, and Barty Crouch Jr. in Goblet of Fire. In the latter, you may have noticed that the character has a notable tic, flicking his tongue and licking his lips, a clue which reveals Moody's true identity in the film. This wasn't actually scripted, and was actually improvised by Tennant, and gives us another reason to love the best thing to come out of Scotland since, well, ever. Let's end on a high, shall we? The Harry Potter series is almost perfectly cast, and one such perfect casting is Evanna Lynch as the eccentric Luna Lovegood. Lynch was so good for the part, and perfectly embodied the character, and it's probably no surprise that her goofy dancing in Deathly Hallows is entirely her own. Man, we just need to get Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3 in there and have ourselves a dance-off. What did you make of this video? Did you know any of these moments were unscripted? Surprised? Any that we missed? Let us know in the comments below and make sure to subscribe to ScreenRant for everything Harry Potter. See ya!